Mental illness in film often gets sensationalized. But what happens when a psychological thriller actually captures the raw, messy reality of a mother's psychological breakdown? That's exactly what we're exploring today.
You know, I was completely captivated by Rose Byrne's performance in this film. The way they shot those opening scenes with those extreme close-ups, you could practically see her character Linda unraveling in real time.
Well, that's what makes this so fascinating. Here's a therapist who should theoretically have all the tools to cope, but her life is literally and figuratively falling apart. The symbolism of her apartment's roof caving in feels almost too perfect.
And the way they handle her daughter's mysterious illness is particularly haunting. I mean, watching your child refuse to eat to the point of needing a feeding tube, that's every parent's nightmare.
You know what's really interesting about this film? The way it builds these layers of isolation. Her husband's away on naval duty, they're forced into this sketchy motel, and even simple things like parking her car become these anxiety-inducing confrontations.
Speaking of the motel, that whole dynamic with ASAP Rocky's character, James, adds this whole other dimension of moral ambiguity, doesn't it?
Oh, exactly. Here's this healthcare professional being drawn into the dark web for drugs. It really shows how desperation can push someone past their normal ethical boundaries. And ASAP Rocky brings this perfect mix of sympathy and wariness to the role.
Well, what struck me was how everyone around Linda is trying to decode her behavior, but they're all working with different pieces of the puzzle.
That's what makes Conan O'Brien's casting as her therapist so brilliant. His natural awkwardness works perfectly for this clinically detached character who seems to be deliberately withholding the help Linda needs.
And the parallel storyline with her patient Caroline really amplifies the whole exploration of maternal mental health, doesn't it?
Absolutely fascinating how they mirror each other's struggles. It's like watching two different versions of the same story playing out simultaneously. And you know what's really clever? The way the motel setting becomes this perfect metaphor for Linda's mental state. Temporary, unstable, increasingly chaotic.
The film really excels at creating this atmosphere where you're never quite sure what's real and what's filtered through Linda's increasingly unreliable perspective.
That uncertainty is what drives the whole narrative. Every scene could either be exactly what it appears or completely distorted by her mental state. It's like watching someone trying to solve a puzzle while the pieces keep changing shape.
So what really elevates this above typical psychological thrillers is how it never sensationalizes mental illness, but also doesn't shy away from showing its real impact.
That's the thing. It takes these universal themes about parenthood, professional identity, and mental health, and pushes them to their extreme limits, while still maintaining this connection to reality that makes it all feel terrifyingly possible. It's not just Rose Byrne's best performance. It's a masterclass in psychological storytelling.
Looking at the bigger picture, it really challenges our assumptions about mental health professionals too, doesn't it? The idea that someone who helps others cope might be struggling so deeply themselves.
And that's ultimately what makes this film so powerful. It forces us to confront our own preconceptions about mental health, motherhood, and the facade of professional competence. Like you said earlier, it's not an easy watch, but it's certainly a meaningful one that stays with you long after it's over. Rated M, it scores an 8 out of 10.
You've been listening to Movies First.
Available at Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or your favourite podcast player. You can also stream on demand at Bytes.com.
This has been another quality podcast production from Bytes.com.